Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today's in episode 166. Today's episode was inspired by two beautiful souls who left a comment on the last episode. And it made me to realize that while we are asking something on this journey, we have to be ready that we might receive that completely differently than we were imagining. For example, you ask for a union, or you ask for an unconditional love, or you ask your twin to awaken, or you ask for your purpose or blessing, and you might receive it completely differently. And that brought me back how my journey began. And I just want to read the first comments that were there today. And I really would say that today's episode is about realizing that you can ask for it, but you might receive it completely differently. Because when we ask for is heard, but what we receive is shaped by what we still need to learn, and that's a very important part. We often pray, manifest, we ask the universe, but the way the universe is going to deliver can feel very uncomfortable at first. So if you've been asking for an unconditional love, if you've been asking for the union, if you've been asking your twin to come and tell you the truth, or your twin to return, then this episode might be for you to realize that you maybe already have received it, but it feels for you like a curse at this moment. And these two comments were very beautiful, and I love that, and I'm going to read this over here. You know how my journey began? I asked the universe to help me to become my highest possible version, and I didn't have any clue what I was actually asking for. Shortly after that, I had a soul recognition with my twin. We had known each other before, but it could not happen until I was ready. Now I'm in a separation, trying to live my life to the fullest, even without him. This was worth seeing. Thank you. And another person commented, I had a very similar beginning. I asked the universe to teach me unconditional love, and after a few months, I met my twin flame. And that brought me back when I read these comments to my beginning of my journey. Because I remember that I had a client of mine coming in and said that she's doing Akashic Records, she's doing soul realignment, she is removing the soul, like the soul team and all of that. And I remember I told her that it sounds absolutely wonderful, but would you mind doing the soul realignment for me or Akashic Records, that I could see what it is, and from that place I could also then help you to reach to the right people. And she said, of course. At that time, I had no idea what I was actually setting my foot into. And to be honest, I was very skeptical on all of these things. And that's why I understand people who do not believe when I talk about the frequency and energy. And when I say that our energy has to be changed, and you can see sometimes our bodies are moving, or when we do distance healing, or when we do energetically through it, because it feels like, well, wait a minute, that's a complete mumbo jumbo. And I was one of them. I always were looking for somehow the proof, the truth. And here it comes to. I was asking for truth. I was asking for proof. And the universe gave me this. Here is why I always say that when we step our foot into the awakening, we can ask for the awakening, but then we have to be ready that it can be delivered in a completely different way than we were imagined. Because the universe is not the universe. The matrix might be showing to you that when you are awakening, you feel blissful, you feel love, you feel so connected. And yes, that's one part of it. But the other part is that you're going to feel so much than you have never felt before. You see and hear things you've never seen before. And once you have seen it, you cannot unseen it anymore. And when my soul realignment was done, I remember, because I felt lost at the time. I felt lost, but I was still okay. And when the soul realignment after 21 days was done for me, I felt good. I even wrote on my journal, wow, I feel so aligned. I feel so good. I feel so one. There is so much beauty in there, and I was very fascinated that it was actually working. Well, a few months forward from there, I met my twin. So you see, I asked to be in alignment with my soul. I asked to be in alignment with my truth. I asked to be in alignment with my purpose, to live from my highest possible way. I asked for it, and I did receive it. I received it in a very different way. Meaning of my twin appeared in my life to awaken me, to show me the parts of me that I had to heal, to show me the way who I am. He told me the whole truth about me, which was somehow difficult to first perceive. Because I was thinking, no, that's not me. How can he say that? Why I don't let any support in my life? Why I don't let anybody to help me? Why I always take care of myself? Why do I work too much? Why am I always in a fight and flight? Why I don't trust? All of these things. And while yet I felt a love that I had never felt before, because somehow I asked for that love. I asked that love for myself. And while I was asking all of that, the universe made it all happen, but in a completely different way than I imagined. And today's episode is all about the fact that you might have already received what you were asking for, but now your mind is sitting there with an expectation, but I want it differently. I want it this way. And you do not see the blessing that you've been given. And you keep on looping and looping because your mind imagines things completely different. I'm going to tell you that on this journey, you're going to have very different ways you're going to receive the things than your mind imagines. Your mind is very limited and it doesn't know how to get there. So life answers through experience and not through the comfort. And I want to start this podcast with a quote, which many of you have read for it or heard from it. But I want to read it over here. I asked for strength, and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. I asked for wisdom, and God gave me problems to solve. I asked for courage, and God gave me dangers to overcome. I asked for love, and God gave me troubled people to help. My prayers were answered. Hazrat Inayat Khan. Isn't that there's a lot of power in there? And today I want to bring you maybe a little bit of understanding when you ask for something, when you do for something. And that's why I have always said, do not start the healing. Do not do the things because you will hope that this will bring your twin flame back. Because the moment you are stepping into that, it will change, but in a very, very different. The life does not give us the idea what we ask for. It simply gives us the initiation. You're not going to receive the full understanding. You're going to receive the experience. And that's another very important part on this journey. That we think that we are going to understand this journey through the mind. We're going to understand this journey through the science, through the nervous system and all of that. And while this is all beautiful because it helps us to get to that point, I'm telling you that your experience is something that is so, so magical that no one can take away from you. And that's what ignites your journey. That's what makes it beautiful, even though it can feel very painful at that time. The same thing, you're not going to receive the wisdom or knowledge you're going to receive the situation that makes you to understand. And now about the unconditional love, what we spoke about it. You're not going to receive unconditional love. You're just going to receive the test of loving without condition. And as I said, you will receive it. You will receive it. But just not the way the ego imagined. And that's an extremely important part of the journey. For example, let's look at this of unconditional love. You're asking today, I want to feel the unconditional love. I want to feel because it makes me so good. It makes me feel alive. So when you ask for unconditional love, your brain, your system, your everything is going to believe that you're going to receive harmony, togetherness, certainty. You're going to feel all of that. But the way the life is going to deliver that to you can be through separation, through silence, and complete distance. And why is that? Why is it? What are you talking about? Unconditional love should be that I'm always there, I'm always here. But unconditional love means that you're loving without control. You don't control how the love is going to be, how the person is going to be, how you are going to be. You just love. Love without thinking what they're doing, how they are. And that's why when we meet our twin flame, we feel we have arrived home. And we feel this unconditional love that doesn't make any sense, but all of a sudden, you are alive. And you are filled like something magical that you cannot even explain. But then we start to control. Then we start to figure it out. How can I keep this? How can I feel this again? And our mind steps in. Because unconditional love means, like I said, you love without control. You're loving with absolutely without any attachment. And I'm going to talk about that at the end of the podcast, where you own nothing and you're free. And it's not from that famous, I know some of you can go like, what do you mean you own nothing and you're free? But there's a lot of power in there. And I'm not talking of material things, although they go again with it. What I mean is you love without attachment. You love without an outcome. You love without making this. And if you cannot today to love without outcome, that just shows that something is there that is controlling you. You're not free. And your twin flame came to help you to become your higher self, where you are free, where you live from your heart, where you live from your purpose. And that's okay when you're not there. It's absolutely fine. Because when you ask to feel unconditional love, so then the life took away all the conditions, all of them. Love your twin without owning them. And that was a very big lesson for me on this twin flame journey. I learned to love without owning anybody. And that is a very difficult thing to do. I'm going to tell you here that I am definitely, in a certain ways, there is a faulty part of me of loving my children. Not that I own them, but I know that I love them into the place that when they're going to leave at one point, it's going to break me. But that's okay. That's part of me to experience it again. To experience pain, to experience loss, to experience transition. And I know it's going to break me because I'm very attached to them. And that's part of the journey. The same on twin flame journey. It's okay when we feel pain. It's okay when we feel longing. It's okay, all of that. We are humans. We are here to feel, connect, love. But just to understand, when we are asking for something, we are asking for an experience. And the God, universe creator, will send it to us. Same thing on twin flame journey, that love without needing validation. Love without knowing that if that's real. Think of it in a way, but I love. I feel the love. And this is actually an important part of the twin flame journey. When we do not seek for the validation from another person of loving you. Because then you start trusting that the love is real. And when you trust that the love is real, your twin flame actually will come closer to you because you are not looking for the answer inside of them. You know it's real. And you can let them to have the experience. You can let them to come closer. You don't look for it that, do you love me? Do you want to be with me? Do you see this on me? So you constantly are looking at, do you? And that can make a person very much like, hey, why don't you see that inside of you? And now it's another very powerful thing. Loving even when the outcome is absolutely unknown. And I invite you today. I truly invite you today. Take a half an hour or 15 minutes, how much you have today. Sit down and say yourself, I am here to experience. I am here to love without knowing what comes today, tomorrow, or in 5 years. I'm not in charge of that. I am going to surrender myself into that journey and into the world that wants to show me how this unconditional love will turn out. And I don't know how. I just let it happen. And try to be on this. Try to feel this for a moment that I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm not going to seek that has to be the relationship. I'm not going to seek how, let's say, if I have my marriage right now or the things I have to step up. I am not going to control that. I am going to love and act from my heart. And how it's going to be the outcome, I don't know. But I trust that it's going to be the best outcome for me on this journey. And that brought me back when I read these comments to the fact that I had no idea, and I still don't know, where this journey is going to take me. What is going to come today, tomorrow, in 5 years. And I know many of you are often wondering, well, how you have your twin in your life, how you have your family in your life, all of that. And I always say, this is just as it is right now because it's aligning with my heart. It might not be the same in 5 years, in 2 days. I don't know what's going to come. I don't know the outcome. And to be honest, I just want to experience. I've got to that point that everything I do, I want to experience, but I don't own it. It's not mine. I'm being given an opportunity to experience love through all of you as well. Every time I see some of your comment or you send me a nice message or you say, or we meet at the retreats, we hug, we hold each other hands, we are there. What a beautiful experience it is. But it came through the pain. I made 180 degrees in my life. I left everything behind, everything. And I arrived to the country, I knew nobody. I didn't know what's going to come. I didn't know where we're going to live. And I made that decision with the 2 little kids, pretty much lying to my husband that we're going to take a year off just to figure it out. Because inside of me, there was something louder. Something was telling to me that I have to go and do it. Did that make sense? No. And none of this journey will make sense to you until you don't start listening to your soul. I'm going to say that this podcast, the retreats, the workshop, none of this makes sense to me in certain ways. But on the other hand, it makes tons of sense because I connect to it. So, for example, you will ask for the union. You ask, I want for the union. And that's one of the biggest things we ask on Twin Flame Journey. I want to get to the union. So you are thinking that your twin will return and all of this. Just talking of the union, on our Patreon, on the 25th of January, we will have the first preparation for the Mahashivaratri Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine Energies workshop to the union. So if you wish to join for that, you're absolutely more than welcome to do so. So it's going to happen on the 25th. There are 2 options to join, like 2 different time zones. Most probably will work for you. And this is a preparation for your body because it's right before we're going to step into the Mahashivaratri, which is very, very powerful. And this year we happen to have Mahashivaratri on the 15th. Right after that, Ramadan begins. Then we have Chinese New Year into Horse, 17th. Then we have a solar eclipse on that time. So we have a lot of energies. I hope all of us who are in Bali for the Twin Flame Retreat, we will survive there. I really hope that universe will be giving us the blessing for this, because the energies are going to be wild and transformative, so transformative that, whew. But we're going to connect to it. We're going to see what it gives to us, and it will give us exactly what we need. Not what we imagine, but it will give us exactly what we need. And today's episode is a lot about this, that it's not that if you ask for the union, you're going to receive daily contact, that your twin flame is going to tell you, yes, we are twin flames, I always loved you, you are what we are supposed to be. You're going to receive that you're going to live together, you're going to get married. That is not, union is not always physical, it's energetic, emotional, and spiritual. And the life might give you an inner union, self-union, and union with your truth. I remember, again, brings me back to that journey when I was seeking for what's come next, because I wanted to be with my twin at that time. I really did. I could all think about it. It was like all of my body, all of us, I was thinking, how can I be with my twin? What can I do? How can I do? And that's why I can clearly understand when we are in that state of obsession, that how can I help my twin to awaken? How can I get to that union? But until we haven't felt the inner union, the rest of it is just chasing. And again, when we are coming to this, when we hear of that the divine feminine is chasing or chaser, and divine masculine is the runner, we realize that divine feminine is a receiver, actually. So chasing energy is not a correct energy. And divine masculine, in the sense of, is the one who stays, who is present, who is strong. But if they run away, they are not in that part of it either. And very important teaching about the union. This is such an important part, and many of us are missing that on Twin Flame Journey. Union cannot happen while we are still abandoning ourselves. And I'm going to read this one more time. The union cannot happen while we are still abandoning ourselves. And so life separates what is still attached, not to punish, but to align with you. And I know when I say these things, it's very difficult to hear it, because our mind works in a different way than our heart. That's why you have a big fight between your soul and your mind. The mind tells you a stories that this is how it is. I have to touch this to feel this. I have to see this, then it's then it's real. I have to hear this, then it's the truth. But I just bring a very silly example, but the same way that you don't see Wi-Fi, but it's real. So there is a part of you to have to understand that you need to feel that inside, and brings me back to the journey when I went on a retreat and we had this holotropic breath work, and I felt that inner union, that bliss within me. And then I realized all of this has been real. Why on earth I have been fighting against that? The love has been real, but the love is now within me. The connection is real. All of these little pieces and bits started to come together, and I realized, wait a minute. The inner union is within me, not the way it's going to be outside. And that was like another moment when the whole life of mine made 180 degrees again. I saw my husband through a different lens. I saw my life through a different lens. I saw my twin different lens and everything. And then my twin came forward and started to tell me how he has been going through a very difficult time and all of that. And I realized, wow, this is it. This is what is there. And that's where my soul started to tell me, now it's time to start a podcast. Now it's time to do this. Now it's time to do that. If you would have told me, because like I said, I don't do this podcast or any of the work for the numbers, for the people, for the attention, for anything. No. I've always said, if it's a one person who listens to me today, and if one person hears, oh my God, that's what I've been looking for. That's what I need. That's what's going to bring me into alignment. Then that's the whole beauty of it. I've never done this with an idea that I'm going to have these numbers, I'm going to have this, I'm going to be... None of it. Not even for a single minute I ever felt this way. I get up in the mornings when I record my episodes and I say just what my soul is saying. It might not make any sense to some of you, and it might not resonate, and it might not be. But on the other hand, it might be exactly that click you had to hear, some activation that started inside of you and you realized, wow, yes, I am ready for it. Because now when I see the transformation from these people and journey, how happy it makes me. And that's it. That is the outcome. I don't know. But I'm also going to say just what really helped me. And that's why I'm not saying that where you are at and you are thinking, I want the physical union, I want this, I want my twin to tell me the truth, I want my twin to know. I had exactly the same. And what really, really helped me at the time were the things such as I found my Reiki master. At the time, I didn't know about Kundalini activations, but I knew I somehow were guided to a Reiki master. And what helped me tremendously was to talk to someone. And then, on the other hand, working with the energy. I just recently told my Reiki master as well. I said, when I met you, I was a very, very broken person. But every time, I don't remember if I met her every other week or... So I set myself a schedule that... And it wasn't again from the mind, it was from that my soul was saying, I need this. And so I was going there. And that's why I say talking helps tremendously. But then there has to be energetic shift. That's why where I came into the energy activations for me, that when I went to the Kundalini training and I realized, we can get there with the mind. Because my first workshops and everything they were talking about, we were sharing. But I realized that brings more of an anxiety. It brings more of a conflict. There starts to come a way of everyone's opinion, but no one is actually listening to their heart. And I realized, no. We need to go deeper within. We need to find the answers within. And so from there on, it came also for me that yes, we do talk, but then we work through energy. And when we work through the energy, we'll get the much better answers. Again. So, about the truth. This is a very tricky one on Twin Flame Journey. Because many people can, let's say you're asking for the truth. And truth does not arrive gently if you are not ready to hear it. Because if you ask for truth, you might receive silence, actions instead of words, and clarity that can break through illusion. And this is a very tricky part now here. Because sometimes we are, in a way, our mind creates an illusion that this person is an amazing person. This is the most amazing person I ever loved, and all of this. And then you ask for a truth. You're going to say that I want to see what is the truth of this connection. I want to know if it's a true twin flame connection. I want to really know if they love me. You ask all of that. And then you might receive it in a completely different way. There's saying that love makes us blind. And that's true. Love makes us blind. We might not see that there is some so-called red flag. Again, of the red flag talking, is that this is our lesson to learn. But we can't stay into the place of, was I stupid? Did I make all of that up? No. You were a person in love who saw the beauty of that soul. But if that soul is not willing to step into their alignment, you have to tell them or tell yourself, I love you unconditionally, but that means I'm going to let go of you. And the idea how the 3D is going to be there. One of the biggest pains on this journey is when we have attachment to the outcome. And on Twin Flame Journey, the pain lasts until we are a believer that this is going to be a full-time relationship right now, right here. We're going to feel this, we're going to feel that, that's how we're going to get married, that's how we're going to have children, and then you're realizing that this person is not making the steps forward you, and you have abandoned yourself completely because all of your hopes, all of your bets are on that person. I'm never going to say that you can't have your twin flame, but what I am saying is that when you're going to receive the truth, let's say your twin is doing something very, very bad, although I don't believe that twin flames are toxic. True twin flames, at least from my perspective, again, I'm going to say that me and my twin, another day I was reading a message he once wrote to me. I don't know if I'm going to read that maybe on episode 200. So if you want to hear that ever, make sure you have subscribed and liked over here, because it's a very deep message. Because my twin has never been angry on me of being in my family. And then that message, she said that I need to bring that message. I don't have this with me right now, but I will read that maybe on episode 200 because it's a very deep one. And there is so much love in there, but so much understanding at the same time. So just to say that me and my twins' relationship is very understanding of each other. Very different than it was from the beginning, in a way that there was a lot for me of chasing and waiting, and same for him, that he didn't believe that he could have me. And all of this, because it's a lot of transformation over here. But it has come to the point of, we never had any toxic, maybe it could have been a different when I would have been, let's say, a single or all of that. Our journey is very different than many of yours. But when we are on the outcome, and I was also for the outcome, that's why I say I understand where you are at. But then universe starts to show you that, let's say, they've been talking bad about you, or they choose somebody else to get married or have a relationship. You have to realize that this is also the truth. Yes, there can be the love. I'm never going to say that there isn't the love between you, but you need to understand, oh, wait a minute. Their actions are the opposite of what I deserve. And truth doesn't always come as answer, and sometimes it comes as the end of the story you were telling to yourself. And just let that settle with you, that you might receive a very different truth. Now, for example, the same way you would ask that, hey, I want my twin to speak the truth. I want my twin to understand the connection, all of that. Again, you are asking for it. But you might receive that completely different way, meaning of they will maybe understand the truth through another experience. So which means they need to go into another relationship. They need to get their heart broken. They need to feel the pain. And then they understand. They might not understand when you are delivering everything for them. And when you ask, and life might show you where you are not being honest with yourself. Meaning of you don't hear what your soul, your essence is saying. When the soul and essence is telling to you, it's not the right time right now. It's just not simply right time. You do need to accept that. Because there is something else magical that starts to happen. And the way it's going to happen is when you're going to connect with yourself. I know 100%. If you're going to connect to your essence, if you're going to do at least 15 minutes of meditation a day, you don't have to do energy activations. You don't have to come to my workshops. You don't have to do any of these things I'm telling you. But you find these 15 minutes to connect. Believe me, your life is going to start aligning. Of course, again, hearing the feedback from all of the people who have been on my workshops or on my retreats or things like that. I don't like using the word my because it feels again like I'm owning it. And that's what I want to get into, that I own nothing. This is just an experience and I am just a vessel. But let me use the mind in that sense that it's for ours. Let's say ours, it's better. I don't know. This way. And they say, wow, I never thought I'm going to feel this way. I never thought I'm going to receive this. I am a believer that you are extremely powerful and you are the master of your own video game. But when you play the game of thinking that someone else is going to help me there or is going to be the one, if they're going to do this, I'm going to feel that, that is not going to happen. And if you've been asking everything and now you have been receiving it, that's also something we need to make a peace with. I had this when I was in a very confusing state and I didn't know what to do. And then I received this message and I started living by that. Meaning of, if I don't make a decision in my life, let's say I feel right now that I have to, I don't know, what let's say I have to go outside for a walk. And if I don't go outside for a walk, and I don't, let's say, I have to go for a walk to feel better, let's say my health. But I don't go for it, and then my health gets bad. Well, that was me. But if I don't make a decision, the universe will make a decision and show me the way. But then I have to be okay with that. Meaning of, let's say, if my health is going to get bad from there, well, the universe is showing to me, you had an option, but you didn't take an action. So I'll give you an action. Because when we feel bad, we start moving finally. So when we are giving our free will, our power into other hands, into the hands of the divine, we have to accept it. And that moment we can't go into the state of saying, yes, I asked for this and now I got this. Well, you got this for a lesson to learn because something inside of you were still abandoning yourself. Remember, you are the master and you are the master of this journey too. But this doesn't mean, and I've said that before, I find it, like I said, I had my Reiki sessions. I had my meditations. I was meditating 2-3 hours a day, and I still do it until today. I enjoy it a lot because of that's where I feel connected to the truth. That's where I feel the clarity. That's where I know the answers. Or in a way of, actually, I know nothing, but I know everything. That is a very big paradox. It's the next episode where I talk about how this twin flame journey can be completely pointless and at the same time absolutely everything you're ever going to experience. And the same with life, that what is the point of life? We're going to get up, we're going to do the things. And so the next episode is a full paradox. And we have to realize that it's everything. So now, for example, you are asking for purpose, abundance, blessing. You're asking that I want to live for my purpose. I want to live in abundance. I want to live in the blessings. And I'm going to say that sometimes blessings look like a loss until you realize what was blocking your freedom. And this is such an important part. Because if you ask for purpose, if you ask for your purpose, the life is going to remove any kind of distraction, which can be your job, your friends, your people, everything around you. It can dissolve. You ask for abundance, the life will break apart. Dependence. What are the things you're depending on? And if you ask for blessing, the life will strip away false security in you. So we have to realize it's always the opposite. And it might feel that, oh my God, my whole life is falling apart. But actually it's falling into place. And I know it's very difficult when we are financially struggling. Your job might be facing you and telling to you that, you're going to get fired, or your colleagues are like everything is crumbling around you and you're still trying to hold together this house full of cards. And yet at the same time, you know that let it go. Just let it go. What's the point for me to hold on to this? And I think one of the biggest things that has changed for me in this journey of realizing that I can be anything and anywhere at any place. I know that one of the things I've been blessed with that I have never put myself a title. I never had any title. I don't introduce myself. Hello, I am this, blah, 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 blah. None of this has ever mattered to me. I barely even mention what I do and where I work. It has never been. And I don't know why is it like this, but it has never been part of me. So that has made it very easy for me in a certain ways of not being attached to any job, anything I do. I just do it. I don't explain to people why, what. And the same way when I met my twin, I was not supposed to be on that job. That was pretty much we were delivering things. And I was not supposed to be. And everybody were thinking that I'm some sort of a spy in there because they see me coming in, delivering things. And they were like, what is this thing? Why this woman is here? But I did that for the charity, of course. But it wasn't really female-oriented thing. And I didn't tell to everybody. So people, they never understood, all of them. But again, like I said, it was put on my path to meet my twin, to do something. And I was not supposed to be there at all. If you were looking at my schedule, it was packed. And yet, the universe squeezed me in there to have that experience. And when the life is going to fall apart and everything is going to fall apart, and the same things come to the abundance. A lot of time when, let's say, we're going to start losing our money, we have money problems, let go of that old money. Really let go of it. Because that old money you've been holding on to has a vibration from the lack. So you cannot build the things from the lack. And this is the thing we have to realize, that when the universe is trying to remove, when the universe is bringing you an obstacle after another obstacle, it's bringing you to realize, let go of it. Let's say you have a debt right now, all of that. Okay. So now try not to hold on to that money, what you receive. Pay off the debts but you can. Let it be. Let yourself to be uncomfortable. Because you're letting go of that, what is there, what is holding you back to receive the abundance. Because if you calculate, I have that much, I hold on to, what you're holding on to, you're holding on to lack. And I know it sounds scary, but I'm going to tell you it's going to bring you the freedom. And there was another big thing of me, I'm coming from nothing. My book is written about that. It's not yet published. I know immediately people were asking, where do I get your book? It's not published because I feel there are more things that going to come into this. But that was channeled completely and from the place of I own nothing and I come from nothing. Because I was born into a country that had nothing. The country was just starting itself. And And when I also channeled that book, I realized nothing is where we create everything. And that is an extreme power. It's a freedom. Right? You know, if I give you a blank canvas, you have nothing, and you have a chance to create something on it. But if I give you a canvas that says, no, you can only cross over here, and if you do this, you do that, you become just a copy because you cannot create from the rules and restrictions. That's why people are driving for freedom, where they get to be free, where they get to make mistakes, because when you get to make mistakes, your creative ability will start again. And that's why being in a society which is run by rules and regulations, and if you do that, and I remember once there was this one woman, Bobby, my dog, was running around, and the woman comes to me, you must put Bobby on the leash, you know, that's not okay. And I looked at her and I said, what's wrong with you? Who is he bothering? We are just on that field, me and Bobby. You are joining here. What is your problem? Look at in the sky. Feel the air, feel the sunshine. Relax. And she goes to me, this is all about law. You know that there's a law. And I looked at her and I said, my law is just love and light. To love another, to be in the present moment. But your law, and that's I didn't say, but I felt that exactly where we're going to make ourselves miserable. And we see through the law that we are afraid of stepping into our purpose because the law says you can't be this, you can't do this. As a child, did you ever imagine yourself that I can't love, let's say, my toy because it's not real? No, you loved your toy, you loved your doo-doo, because that's what unconditional love is. I love it. I don't care what my doodle is doing to me. Like if it's here or not. Like in that sense, like if it says back to me or there. You lived in a world of freedom. But then the human mind comes in and says, oh, I want to make you. I want you to live according to my rules and my regulations and my way. So I'm going to make it hard for you. Well, it comes down to, of course, a lot of our common sense as well. I'm saying to you that not all of us always have the common sense. And so that's where the rules and regulations are coming in. But in overall, let's think about it. Life is simple. You're not supposed to hit another person. But then we go and hit, then we need a law that, well, dear person, if you hit another person, you go to jail. I mean, isn't that the common sense that you don't hit another person? Or you don't go and steal from another person. Or you don't say bad things about another person. Or you don't try to, steal. All of these kind of things. It's just the common sense. Isn't that the common law? But then comes our lack, our way of whatever is there. And that's where I come down to that you own nothing and you become free. And that can trigger, I know who it can trigger. But freedom begins where the ownership ends. Because when you own nothing and you're suddenly free, you're free to love without fear. Free to create without limitations. Like I said, you don't have limitations, rules, regulations. All of what is holding you back, your label, the way of being, what you can do and what you can't do. And the same on the twin flame journey. When I remember that there was like this kind of, you want your twin flame come back, then block them, remove everything, do this and they're going to come back. And again, you are living from according to other people's rules, not from your heart. Free to be yourself without performing for union, meaning of you don't do things of receiving union. And when you realize you own nothing, you realize you are not losing, you are expanding because nothing holds you back, you are free. And creation from nothing is the alchemy. How many times in a certain way, sometimes I've been thinking that, I could do like others are doing in a way that, that's what's going to trigger them. That's what's going to keep them on a loop. And then I go, but I could care less about that. I want to be in that version what my soul is delivering. Let it be. Because who is here right now had to hear that and feel the connection. And true creation comes when the old collapses, all of the things. And that's why we need to be able to let go of any kind of title, any kind of thing, who you are, who you were, what you're going to be. Just experience. Like a child, like I said, when a child wants to dance, the child dances. It doesn't ask for it. Is it the right place or the wrong place? If the child wants to hug, it's going to come and hug without thinking, is it the right or wrong? If I want to say something nice, I'm going to do it. Be free. Let yourself to be free. When you're empty, there comes the creativity. When you surrender, the power comes. And when things are uncertain, you're going to receive the truth. And you might not like that truth, but that's the truth, and connect to it. And on Twin Flame Journey, think about it. When nothing is guaranteed, you have a freedom of every single outcome is possible. But nothing is guaranteed, and that's going to set you free. Take a deep inhale and realize nothing is guaranteed how it's going to be, but I am free to receive the highest possible version. When there is no outcome that is promised. And that's where real love is born. And actually, I wanted to end that podcast. It's quite some time already. But that was from another person when I talk about the child. And she was here on a retreat, and now she sent me this. And I'm just going to read that because I think it goes well with that podcast. Hey B, I was just listening to your podcast this morning during the meditation, and a thought crossed my mind. When I was a child, I was in love with everything around me. I would be in awe of the smallest things, without needing a person or a man to complete me. And that was my normal state. And I think this journey somehow cleared the adult me from all of the programmed layers, all of the things society and my family told me I was. And it took me back to the state that I used to be as a child, without needing the man, my twin, to complete love. I think that's why it hurts so bad in the beginning of the process, because you reprogram and override everything you told yourself and what others told you you were for most of your life. But I'm going to tell you, it's completely worth in the end. Yesterday I was waiting in my car to pick up my younger daughter from school, and I was watching people's faces, and I swear, I could hear the worries, thoughts, what they need to get done, solve, and so on. And I was so grateful for this journey, because I'm aware, I'm alive, and I'm present. Even though it hurts at times, but this hurt makes us alive too, after all. The difference is that now I know that after hurt, time or the episode, a breakthrough will most certainly come. Isn't that saying there that right before things get better, they get worse? And that's on Twin Flame Journey too. Right before the inner union, you're going to feel the complete separation. Right before the truth arrives to you, you're going to feel that how the whole house of cards is going to fall apart. Right before you know who you are and your purpose, everything will be dissolved. It disappears like magic. But you have the chance to connect to it, to be in it. So remember, it's just about, and today's episode, I really wanted that you take that truth with you. You own nothing. And that sets you free how this journey is going to turn out for you. So simply be gentle what you ask for. Not because it won't be given to you, but just because the life listens beyond your words and answers at the level of your soul. When you ask for love, and life gives you the experience of loving without condition, without guarantees, without owning another human being, because that's the only love that is real. And when you ask for union, and life dissolves the versions of you that you were still trying to merge from fear, from emptiness, from the need to feel completed, until the only union is left is the one that begins inside of you. And when you ask for truth, a life does not whisper it gently. If you are no longer meant to sleep, it removes the illusion, the stories, the hopes that were built on a fantasy rather than alignment. So what remains is clean, simple, and real. And when you ask for abundance and blessings, and life takes away the false supports, the attachments, the identities you hide behind, it's not because to punish you, but to show you that you can create from nothing, and that you are not dependent on anything outside of you to feel whole. And that's the moment we break the matrix. And one day you realize that you own nothing. Not the person, not the outcome, and not even that path. And instead of fear, the freedom will rise. Because when you stop trying to possess life, the life finally moves through you. And this is the twin flame journey. Not the promise of what you will receive, but the initiation of into who you will become. And when you understand that, you stop asking from the ego and you start trusting the intelligence of the life itself. You will be on a path to your higher self. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope it ignited something beautiful inside of you. And if it didn't, that's beautiful too. Just to go through a few little things for today. We have now the Bali retreat, and that's why I said any of you who feel that they are now ready to step into that, they need some guidance, they need to understand, they need to just someone to hold their hand and say, that's all right, that's okay. All of this can happen. twinflameawakeningjourney.com. Just make sure in January and early February, as I will be away the whole February eventually. So make sure that you have your session if you've been thinking of it, if your soul is asking for it. I'm here. I'm here to show you that you have all the answers and all the possibilities within you. About the upcoming retreats, of course, you can sign up on the website as well on the waiting list. Waiting a final confirmation for our Italy retreat. The place that we have found is absolutely incredible. Whew. And beautiful on top of a mountain overlooking the sea and down. It looks absolutely wonderful. Now we are just finalizing the things. So those who want to join us at the end of June, make sure you will be on a waiting list. You can sign up on the website. I feel really bad that I do not share the clips and videos and photos of our previous retreats. I tried to put them out there that you could see also. As for me, we always have the photographer, but I try to keep, in a sense of your identity, all of that hidden, because it's not about so much of, like I said, there shouldn't be any shame around Twin Flame Journey, but it's also a very deep inner journey where we feel love that we've never felt before. But we have beautiful videos, we have beautiful moments that definitely will be shared anytime soon. But though, like I said, on Patreon we have workshops 25th, 31st and 8th of February. So 25th of January, 31st we do Jupiter Kriya, and 8th we have. So next of the two workshops will be preparation for this beautiful Mahashivaratri that is coming this year, with all of the energies of eclipse, horse year begins, Ramadan begins, all of that. Wow. talking of the cosmic energies. So if you're ready for the union and you ask for it, and it might be coming differently than you experience, let it happen. Anyways, my loves, it was a long episode, but I wish you a lot of love and lots of light, and see you very soon.
I was looking out the door, always looking round for more. Didn't know it had everything I needed. Tried to give me all the clues, hoping I would see the truth. Didn't know it, didn't know till we parted. Couldn't see the signs until you had enough and said goodbye. Wish I could go back to where we started. Wish that I could find a way to say sorry that I let you go, sorry that I got so cold. Wish I could go back to what we were. Know that I was stupid, I was but a fool then. Know that I was stupid, blew it, losing what we were. Started out the perfect way, stayed in bed for rainy days. Didn't know it had everything I needed. And when I think of all the times I got it wrong and let you down, didn't know it, but what we had was perfect. Couldn't see the signs until you had enough and said goodbye. Wish I could go back to where we started. Wish that I could find a way to say sorry that I let you go, sorry that I got so cold. Wish I could go back to what we were. Oh, maybe somewhere down the line there's a chance to get it right. Say I'm not alone. Oh, maybe there's a place and time. Maybe there's a chance to find a way to come back home. Wish I could go back to where we started. Wish that I could find a way to say sorry that I let you go, sorry that I got so cold. Wish I could go back to what we were, to what we were. Wish I could go back to what we were. Oh, I'm sorry that I let you go, sorry that I got so cold. Wish I could go back to what we were. Know that I was stupid, I was but a fool then. Know that I was stupid, blew it, losing what we were. Know that I was stupid, I was but a fool then. Know that I was stupid, blew it, losing what we were.